Hello and welcome to episode 4 part B, where we're going to be looking at actually making our RC work with the Flipskys, and it's everything's in the right direction. If this is your first video in this series, please do stick around, you might find something useful, and then maybe you might want to go back and watch the other videos, but come and join me on the bench. Hello, so this is take 2 because I recorded all of this an hour ago and the audio totally messed up. I suppose I should go and do a quick test really. No, I'm fairly confident that's working. Okay, so the first step I'm going to do is actually get the RC configured properly, because this is actually what's caused me a lot of problems between the last video and now. Is I wondered if there was a lot of setup problems with the actual motors, but there wasn't with the transmitter. So, can we see this okay? I think we can. So if I just turn this on. Now one of the problems I've got is you'll notice this switch is broken. I damaged this at a previous convention and I've not yet properly fixed it, but this was causing a glitch. So if I just go into the settings, and if I go on to display, we can sort of see what's happening with the controls. You know, we can see it's reading everything correctly as it should, but it wasn't doing this. This was actually, these bars here were a little bit out of place because I'm using channel 1 and channel 2, so that's important with the receiver setup. So if I just come out of that menu, if I come down, I've had to go into the trimming menu and just offset these very slightly, so to center it basically. Okay, so now what I've done is if I go into my mix, and this is what's going to allow me to go forwards with both motors, backwards with both motors, but of course if I go to the right, it's going to actually make the motor go forwards, and one forwards and one backwards. Okay, so if I just come down here, so oops, not that. So if I just come down onto the master, I'm saying, so channel 1 master, which is up and down, is going to tell the slave channel 2 to basically be the negative numbers, and then I've gone and done the same thing. So if I just scroll through on channel 2, I've told channel 2 to be the master, and this time it's going to be 100%. So it was these numbers that took me a little bit of experimenting with. It seems really obvious when you see it finished, but I went through a few options because this is actually the reverse of what it is for my small ride-on baby droid, and that's the controls I was trying to use originally. And just to prove this works, if I just turn the remote on, turn the controllers on, so there we go, we can see, we are moving as we would expect. So forwards, reverse, turning, and turn. The jolting is just because these wheels are still not actually fastened properly into the housing. Okay, so let's take a look at the wiring. Bit of a mess, I know. So if we start off at the beginning, so I've got this Ryobi compatible 18 volt battery. These are 24 volt motors, these are 24 volt speed controllers, but they're working just fine with an 18 volt. I may upgrade this in the future. So I've got the 18 volt Ryobi. I've got to get the Ryobi 18 volt adapter, which does have a switch, but that is broken. I'm going to, that came brand new broken, so I'm going to return it. So I've got the power cables. Right now it's got a single fuse. I will update that later. So the black cable, the ground, the earth, is going into a Wago connector. So there's one power in, one ground is going in, the other two grounds are coming out to both of the speed controllers. The positive, same again, positive cables coming into the centre, my choice, and then I've got the two power cables going straight in. These cables are part of the ESC, they came already on them. So if I just move that out of the way. So that's now my power going to both ESCs. When I put this inside the droid, I am going to have to extend these because that's just far too short for dealing with at the moment. So now the actual connectors themselves. So the first bits are, we've got the 3 cables coming out, cut out of the ESC, and I notice these are they're not coloured, they're not labelled, because it just doesn't matter. What I've decided to do is label them 1, 2 and 3. So I've put some little sticky labels on. I've made an adapter cable, which you might have seen in the last video, because this is 12 AWG cable, this is 14, and I'm not sure what that is, it's probably 18 or 20 or something. So I've just made a step down cable so I can use these bullet connectors. In the end I may have to extend these, we'll see what it's like once inside the Droid. I've seen some other people on the Droid forums have actually desoldered these to put their own cable directly onto it, so they're not having to mess about with different gauges. I may do that in the future, depends how I'm feeling. So again, I've decided to number them 1, 2 and 3, which is connecting to my yellow, green and blue. There's no reason for that colour scheme. I decided that's what I'm going to go with. That's going to be my standard for my droids, because I suspect I'll use more of these in the future on other builds. So that's the wiring going in that then feeds the actual motor itself. So nothing too complicated there, just 3 wires, a step-up cable and straight to the ESC. The one that I was worried about was the other cables, which is the Hall effect sensor. Now if you watched the last video you'll see that I did crop these, made a mistake, but basically there's 5 wires, positive and negative, red and black, that gives power to the Hall effect sensor. Now the Hall effect is basically a measurement of where the hub motor currently is at, and it can use that for fine tuning of its own control system. So then I've got the positive and negative. I think that's hopefully clear enough. And then again I've tried to adopt my own standard, whereas the colours coming out of the motor is yellow, green and blue, and the ESC has yellow, green and orange. So I've just tried to stick yellow to yellow, green to green, or blue to orange, so that I'm keeping some standard, so that if I swap the motors round or buy replacements, I can stick to it and just plug it in. You know, if there's a problem, something breaks. So that's it. I'll try and include some close-up photos if that's necessary. So that's basically it. That then goes into the connector that it came with. Now some people again who watched last episode, I did cut the wrong end. I have found I can get a replacement cable on eBay, so I'm going to order one of those and it should come in a few days. But for now this is working just fine. So that's basically the wiring. The last bit is the receiver itself. So we've got a normal servo type connection. Sorry if I get a mess. Normal servo type connection, so that can plug straight into the receiver. So on this one I've got my, I forgot which motor this one is, let's have a quick look, let's follow the wires. So this is my right motor, so my right motor is going to channel 2 on my receiver. I don't know if that makes any difference, this is just what I decided to do. So that's going into channel 2 of my receiver. Now channel 1, the rules are you should only have one positive feed going into the receiver, because right now this receiver is getting powered by the ESCs, by this big battery. So that power is coming through the battery, through the ESCs, through the red cable and into the receiver. What we don't want to do is power it twice in case there's an imbalance. So what I've done is, some people said just cut the red wire. I don't want to cut the red wire because I might want to use CSC on a different side, in a different system, with separate batteries, so I'm not going to cut it. What I've done for this testing is I've just grabbed some other DuPont cables and I've just put 2 pins that are basically connecting. So I've just plugged into the white into the white, grey into the black, because that's what I've got to hand. So I'm just connecting the signal wire and the ground wire through the DuPont cable and into my channel 1. I don't like having these wires, but they're not connected to anything, but I don't want them accidentally brushing against and short circuiting, so I will make a better cable when it goes in the Droid. Okay, so that is the basic wiring. Really it should be a 5-10 minute job to go from getting your motors out and wiring them all up. Certainly quicker than it was for me to build the housings, just because of the Allen key, the problem I had. Okay, so our next step is to now go through the settings in our obviously in the computer itself, and configure the motors. Okay, so the software we are using is from the Vesc project. You've got to basically create an account, log in, you can then download it. You'd have to add it to basket and download. You don't have to pay anything for it, you don't get spammed by it, so don't worry about that. And then once we're into it, we can then just extract from a zip file and load. It is available for both Apple, Windows, and you can even get it for mobile, so you can do it straight from Android or iPhone, but you will need to get Bluetooth adapters for the speed controllers. Okay, so I've got the software loaded up. I'm just going to plug one of the ESCs in. we should now see that it's popped up with the serial STM32 COM4. COM4 is just a communication port, as in your USB port. I'm just going to press connect, press OK. Now going to press, oh there we go, it's now detected it on the CAN bus. I'm going to say set up motors. Yes, I'm going to load default parameters. Let's have a look down here. So yes, it's generic, so I'm just going to press next. It is the e-bike DD hub. There's a few others to choose from, but that's one we're having. Now it's remembered my settings from the last time I ran this, so it's set to 200 watts and it's got motor poles 20. In the last video I said 14. We've had new information since then, so I'm just press next, press yes. Just checking my battery now. I don't know quite what that battery is. I know it's 5.5 amps. I'm not sure about number of cells, but it seems to work just fine. So I'm going to leave that as it is for the moment. But I have heard other people have had some glitches if the battery is the wrong one. Press next, press OK, and then I'm going to just make sure these numbers are still the same. The motor poles has changed, so I'm just going to change that to 20. I'm going to press run detection, press OK, and we should see one of the motors actually doing something. Hear it. Okay, so there we go, we can see that spinning slowly. Okay, and we've got all the readings that we expected to see. So I can now just press OK. I'm just going to test this now by pressing forwards. Right, so that is not going the correct direction. This again was part of my experiments between last video and now, is that's actually going to push the droid backwards. So I'm just going to say this is inverted, because that's the right wheel, so I'd expect it to be going that direction. So let's just test again. Yep, so there we go, that's rolling that way, so that's how I would expect that to be. I can now press finish. I've also been advised I should go onto these settings and just run these buttons as well, which is testing it's sort of calibrating the right and left. I don't fully understand it, I've been told to do it. And then the lambda. And then apply. So that mode should now be ready. So the next step is the RC. Because I've reset it, it's forgot the RC itself now. So if I just come back onto Welcome and Wizards, set up input, press next. So I've got my RC in hand. Just going to connect the transmitter. So have a quick test. There we go. So we can see it's still running the other motor. Now, in the last video, I said I was having a problem with the actual input deadband, as in the dead zone, just like on any kind of controller. But I think that's because of my trimming was out. So I am just going to now try this by bringing it down to about 7. We'll see how this goes. Pressing next. Set this to duty cycle. Leave those as true. Bring these down to 0.1. Other people have been experimenting with these numbers. This is just about the lag between you pushing it and it actually doing something, to try and give you a bit of sort of safety area. I'm going to write the configuration. I'm going to press next, finish. So hopefully we should now see. Okay, so that was the left motor, sorry, the right motor we tried to invert. I'll quickly do the other one. So I'm just going to unplug that, grab the other kit motor. And again, I'm just going to connect. Let's try and speed this up, this one, the same settings again. Okay, we can see this time it's rotating the correct way, so I don't need to invert this one. So I can press finish. I'll do those other settings. I'm just running the RC setup again. And there we go, we are now ready to install our drives and update the wiring. Just a quick note on transmitters. I am going with my Flipsky transmitter. They are quite low cost. This is a 6 channel, but it can be updated to be 10 channels, so it gives me lots of switches to do other things with. I'm using this because I already had it. I've had this for years. I got it for an RC boat, and it's just continued to be adapted to my droid projects. I do have a hot RC transmitter. I've so far not even powered this up. If there's enough interest, I will look at configuring this and do a little tutorial, but so again, comment below if that's of use to you. But there's plenty of other transmitters and other options you can use, but for now, this is the method I've chosen to go with. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. We've now obviously got the transmitter talking to the receiver talking to the Flipsky speed controllers, which are in turn talking to the 4-inch hub motors. The next step is going to be now actually physically building these together, putting the motors to the rest of the foot assembly, attaching them to the legs to the body, making the centre foot, and then trying to run this wiring through. And I'll probably make a temporary wiring holding system while I tweak, just in case I have to take things back apart to play with them. So join me in the next one, where of course I'll be doing all what I just mentioned. And thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, positive comment, always nice to read. I shall see you later.